Joining us on the program at this point in time is defense expert Mohommed Ali Shah. Also joining us on the show is Group Captain V.N. Jha. Good morning to both of you and appreciate you taking out the time. Ali, are you happy about the response that the External Affairs Minister has given to Anthony Blinken? You know, he did flag out human rights violations in India, and that was unsolicited and unwarranted.
Our Ministry of External Affairs, they are doing a commendable job, and our External Affairs Minister has given a very right, befitting reply. Our stance has always been very wise, very prudent and very clever. So when US talks about human rights violation, let me tell you, when you point a finger at someone, 3 fingers are pointing back at you. And you should always practice what you preach. Preach out of the 193 countries that are recognized by the UN. US has taken military action or invaded at least 84 out of those countries. I mean, that is ridiculous. And out of the 193 countries, 191 countries have seen a military interference, including India, that is, since we are a member of Quad as well. So it's basically a military interference. 191 countries have seen that, which is a staggering 98%. So US does, look what they've done in Iraq. It was the New Year Eve when they hung Saddam Hussein. Why? Who didn't even have links with Al-Qaeda, who didn't even know who was Saddam Hussein. He probably would have learned as much as when we got to know through the news. And look what they did in Libya, General Gaddafi. No links with Al-Qaeda, but then they could do it, so they did it. They have done this in Vietnam, they've done this in Korea, they have done this repeatedly in other countries. It is them who is acting as bully right now, Vineet. That's not the way. They tried bulldozing on us our foreign policy initially. They tried hinting, subtly, then they sent the deputy NSA regarding our oil dealing with Russia. Then 2 days back, we all tend to impress, right? But we do not tend to express. Our Prime Minister expressed out to Mr. Joe Biden and he talked about things. But right now, again, what US is doing, I think they should really practice what they preach. And we have given a befitting reply, no doubt about that.
Ali, what do you make of this? Is Pakistan going to go on this spree of denial that, you know, they are not the harbingers of, you know, terrorist organizations in Pakistan? Is this the new Pakistan, which still happens to be the old Pakistan, being propagated by, you know, Mr. Sharif?
A very good question, Vineet. You know, nothing much is going to change in Pakistan despite Mr. Shahbaz Sharif taking over as Prime Minister, because he's a puppet at the end of the day. He will call the military will call the shots. He will do what the military says over there. So when Pakistan comes forward, and they will keep denying it, of course, like the way they've been doing in history. Have you ever seen a guilty person? Very rare. A guilty person actually coming up and saying, yes, I am guilty. Very rare, very rare. But here in this case, Pakistan and China are incorrigible. They will never, even the wildest dreams, ever admit it. Even though, even they might suffer casualties at times on it, but no, they will never. And yes, they have been harboring a lot of terrorists. They are camps. In fact, the Jammu Kashmir DGP, Dilbag Singh, has said, they are camps waiting across the line of control, waiting to cross it, but they cannot, because we are alert at the border. They have been harboring. Look at this, look at the Balakot strike that we did. 7-acre land. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan was feeding them. He was supporting them. Khalil, who he has linked with Al-Qaeda, they were providing them. They had tradesmen, they had barbers, they had cooks, they had drivers, they had, I mean, unimaginable. They had formed a proper force over there. They have been training terrorists, they have been harboring terrorists, and they are the ones, but that technique of theirs is not working, really. Because our army is very guarded, they are very secure at the border right now. So they are trying narco-terrorism. They tried dropping bombs across the border, drugs across the border, Punjab, J&K, but that technique also will not work. So they're thinking of ways and means of new innovative methods, but they will never agree, not even in the wildest dreams. But that is the only country, I mean, tell me where, I've seen insurgency in Jammu Kashmir. I've been at the Indo-Pak border 30 meters away, just 30 meters away for 2 years. And I have seen insurgency in Northeast. I was in Manipur and Nagaland as well. I've never seen suicide bombers in Northeast. I have fought insurgency, very brave fighting force of the Northeast, of Nagaland, Manipur. I have to commend them. I have to give them their due. They are worthy opponents in the Northeast. But they're not suicide bombers. Unlike Pakistan, who are brainwashed and sent into Kashmir to explode themselves. And no religion talks about blowing themselves up. Every religion talks about humanity, but they're so radicalized that they are shown dreams that this will happen to you, that will happen to you after you die. And who cares after you die? Live this life the way it is right now. But it's a totally incorrigible country beneath. And we saw the kind of drama that happened over there. It was more entertaining than any web series or any Netflix one could have seen. So they are a bunch, and I always keep saying this, Neet. I always keep saying this. You know, if with no offense to anyone, really, I say from my heart, and with all good feelings.
Absolutely. Ali, your thoughts on this? You know, the gun laws in America, the Second Amendment, which allows every American to have a firearm to protect himself, is basically leading up to thousands of people dying every year. You know, they don't need terrorism. You know, they have their own people killing each other.
Very well said, Vineet. Very well brought out by you. You know, in India, if we have to apply for a gun license for our own personal safety, if we go to the DM or DC office...
It's almost impossible. It's impossible to get
impossible. Exactly. Almost impossible. In US, they made it so simple now. Every small child will have a gun now.
And you can get the license after you purchase the gun.
Exactly. And everyone. And you know, when you actually see the history, when they found the suspect, a lot of people took everyone had a mobile phone. So when this attack was taking place, everyone clicked photographs, put on social media, it circulated around. It took them almost 29-30 hours to actually nab the suspect, all right. But then, you know, again, now this man will be tried, and thereafter it can lead to a life imprisonment. Now, when such things happen, he drove, look at the thing, he drove from Philadelphia, which is 1 hour 47 minutes. That's 96 miles. He actually drove from Philadelphia for 160 kilometers. He drove for almost nearly, you can call it 2 hours, like a few minutes less, parked his van, which was rented, left his keys and took a bag with gasoline, petrol, magazines, and a semi-automatic handgun, and he fired in this
Right, absolutely. You're absolutely right, Ali.